That song you love is on right now, not later, not on a playlist, not something you have to pay for. I mean live, right now. That's called radio. In Seattle, that's called Warm 106.9.
Don't ask me to talk.
Welcome to yet another exciting edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm one of your podcast pals. I'm Eric Ryder, representing Washington State here on the big podcast today.
Hey, y'all. This is the other one. This is Stacey Heller, and I am repping Texas. Exactly. It's official. I've got a Texas license plate, and now I have a Texas license.
All right.
Yeah, that was quite a thing. I gotta tell you.
How so? We might as well jump right into it.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you. But let me get into this. So, my husband, love him. He is Mr. Rule Follower. He found out that his license, his Washington license, expired on his birthday, which was at the beginning of March. So now we moved to Texas, and he's like freaking out because he's like, oh my gosh, we've got to get a license within 90 days in the new state. And I'm driving around and like, is this going to impede my ability to do all the things I need to do? Plus, we're going to be renting a car soon and he needs a valid license. Like this whole thing. The man is beside himself. He is like filling out.
These seem like valid concerns.
Yeah, right. Sure. So he's filling out all.
You don't want to be tackled by a state trooper when you stop into a Buc-ee's because you didn't get your license renewed on time.
Right. Fair. So he's like filled out the paperwork. He's gone and looked for his birth certificate, his social security card, mail, the registration, insurance, like proof of.
He's going to be one of the few people that can vote in our new reality.
Yeah.
If they pass the same.
Yeah. I mean, he like had everything. So then we read somewhere that it takes forever to get an appointment. And he's like, I need to get one. Like I'm driving around with an expired license. Yours doesn't expire until 2029. You're good. And I'm like, I mean, I have 90 days, but like, sure. So He's freaking out. He finds.
You can always just pretend like you just moved.
Oops, did I do that?
To the state. Yes.
Talk about the biggest lie, which is our topic of today.
Yep.
So he's searching all over. He finds an appointment in Fredericksburg, Texas, which is going into hill country, which we heard was beautiful. So he scheduled an appointment for this week. Holy cow. It's like at 4:00, he was like studying for the written test in case he had to take the written test. He's going through. He's like, I don't know this stuff. I'm not going to pass it. They said there's a vision test. Like I'm out of contacts. Like this man is turned inside out. So we make the trek to Fredericksburg. Lovely, by the way. Highly recommend.
So there's no like DMV in San Antonio, or they just don't have any appointments for the next 2 weeks
within the time frame that he was looking.
Right. Okay.
So we make the trek, and like he gets home like 3 hours before the appointment, and it's going to take about an hour to get there. We were ready.
Right.
So we get there, and I'm like, I gotta pee. So we went to the Department of Public Safety that's in Fredericksburg, and I was like, you stay in the car, I'll go check the place out, and I'll use the bathroom because it's a public building. They'll have a restroom. So I go in, and I swear it is like the typical, I don't know, Texas or Southern, like small town. You walk in the building, there's no security. There's the windows where it's like with the little blinds on them. And it's like, here's the justice of the peace. And here's where you go for court dates. And the DMV is downstairs. It's this tiny little podunk building, very efficient. Nobody there, nobody at the windows. Like, so I use the restroom and I'm like, he's going to be fine. So we go back outside, wander around a little bit. He checks in for his 4:00 appointment at 3:30. And we walk downstairs and there's 2 desks and like one person sitting at one desk being helped and then the other one. He's like, I'm here for my license. Like, here's all my stuff. And she's like, okay. So she goes through the whole thing and she's like, are you here for moral support? And I was like, yeah. I said, she said, are you getting your license too? And I was like, it's hard to find appointments. He needed to get his license had expired. And she's like, well, you can see if there's an appointment for today. And I was like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, just look at the machine. And I was like, it's not coming up. It's fine. And she's like, no, he can help you. She's like, fill out the paperwork. So because I manifested this, I totally brought my passport and all the things that I would need. And so Pete is like, she's like, okay, vision test. With the janky eye test that's on the file cabinet, she's like, read the fourth line. And so he's like, PCED. And she's like, great. What are the colors in order? He's like, green, red. She's like, great. Sit back, take a picture, boom, you're done. Here's your paper license. And I like, then not even 10 minutes behind him, I get my license. And he's like, I cannot flip and believe it. Like, what did you think it was going to be? Like,
Right.
What did you think? Did you think that hell was going to rain down on you and it was going to be some big thing? Like, what was your concern? It was lovely. They were lovely. They were helpful. It was not a big deal. The eye test was like, the vision test was nothing. I mean, it was ridiculous. And
it's one of those things that I feel like stand-up comedians have permanently skewered our view of what the DMV is actually like. Like every time I've gone, and it's Department of Licensing here in the Great Northwest, it's been just fine, especially if you make an appointment ahead. I had to wait like 10 minutes last time. Oh, wow. But it was smooth sailing. It was just fine. And it's like, and I find airline food, to be just fine. It's not blowing me away. I'm not going to a restaurant going, I'm going to order, whatever they serve on Alaska
chicken.
Airlines. Yeah. But it's like, this isn't bad. This is fine, for a complimentary meal. I'm happy with it. And it's the same thing with the DMV. People get so in their head about how horrific it's going to be. But honestly, it's just not that bad and not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And I think he was just freaked out that, he's like, I don't know if like with my age, I'm like, you're not 85. Like, my man. Like, you're going to be fine.
With my age?
Well,
what are they thinking? They're going to go, Grandpa, you got to give me the keys.
Right. I was like,
you can't drive no more.
What do you think is going to happen? I mean, it just.
The man's in his 50s, right? Or is he in his 60s?
Very early 60s.
Okay. So, that's nothing.
Right. It was just one of these things that it shows you. Like, last episode we talked about K-pop demon hunters, and I was talking about how the demons that are in your head, like the whole moral of this, like, sure, don't listen to them. He had the demons about the Department of Licensing / DMV / Department of Public Safety. Like, they were hounding him.
Is that what they call it down there, Department of Public Safety?
That's the building we went to.
So you went to the DPS,
I guess,
instead of the DOL or DMV.
Yeah. So it was quite something. And in the end, it was no biggie. And that's just it. Further proof, don't listen to the demons, because it's not that big a deal, people.
It's got to be fine. Yes.
So, yeah. But then meanwhile, the bugaboo that I since I'm going, I might as well keep going.
Sure.
This weekend in the Pearl, again, where we live in San Antonio, there is this really cool thing where on Saturday mornings they have a farmer's market. For the past couple weeks, Pete has been all gung-ho, getting up on Saturday morning, going and getting coffee and coming back with breakfast. Now, between you, me, and our listeners, which none of which is Pete, I hate the breakfast that he brings back. So I was like, I'm getting up and I'm going. I'm now vested in this process. So I finally went to the farmer's market. Lovely.
I mean, can't you ask for something specific?
No, and
But then again, you kind of hate.
I hate everything.
Pretty much.
I'm fine. Remember, like, look,
I'm just trying to think what he could bring back that could be so offensive.
Nothing is so offensive. And that's the thing. Like, the thing I need to remember is I need to remember that his efforts are not a product. They are a gift. How about that? Right? So, but that said, the gifts.
I think I just realized you are the one that is on the airplane going, this chicken is terrible.
No, I usually like the chicken because it's bland.
And sending it back.
No, the chicken's usually bland and boring, so I like it.
Okay.
No, he'll bring back something because he's like, let's try this. This is cool. And I'm like, oh, trying something. That's horrible. So, moral of the story here is way off topic. I got my butt up and I went to the farmer's market. It was lovely. There's meat and eggs and flowers and jams and all these incredible things. We ended up getting beignets, which were delicious, by the way.
Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with a donut.
Right? So, great morning. Then I was really excited because on Sunday mornings, same place, they have what they call a maker's market. So to me, a maker's market is like, let's say, artists and artisans, right? And so I'm like, as a maker myself, I'm like, this is great. I can spend the summer like painting and doing projects. And who knows, maybe I can sell my stuff at the maker's market and I can have a booth.
Sure.
Like, this would be great. So Sunday morning, I am gung-ho. I am ready to go. I walk out there. 95% of the stuff, same people. And I'm like, you didn't make this. Like, I feel gypped. So I am like walking around like, what, like, no jewelry, no art, no like bags or, there's like a few things here and there like peppered in between. But I'm like, hey, lamb man. And like, hey, bread person. Like, yes, you made these things. Yes, you made the sourdough bread. But that's not by definition what a maker is. So am I crazy? I mean, yes.
Are you sure you didn't accidentally go to the baker's market?
No. Also, I'm spoiled by flowers at Pike Place Market in Seattle because there you get a huge cone of fresh flowers and it's like $15, $20, $25 and it's massive, right? I got a tiny little like 6 flower bouquet of dahlias and it was $25. Crazy.
Flowers are expensive.
Yeah, it's the only thing that I have found to be crazy expensive here. So anyway, so I'm curious.
So the problem was for you that they didn't have some guy whittling like a little wood car or something for sale.
Yes.
Instead, it was bread and lamb. So it sounds like it was just the farmer's market.
It was basically just the farmer's market. So why, why change the word and call it a maker's market? And the question of whether
maybe the idea is that they hope to attract those people, but for the moment, they don't have those people just yet. So it's just the same people at the farmer's market, because most farmer's markets are kind of makers markets. There's people. It's not usually like they are like some people selling stuff from the farm, like berries and whatnot. But a lot of the times it's people selling their homemade jam or their homemade bread or whatever, So it is a maker's market in a way. Yeah.
And so there was all of that on Saturday, which I would have expected. And a few like we'll say non-farm type goods, but mostly stuff. But then on Sunday, I would have expected it to just flip-flop a little, There was a magician who introduced himself as Jim, a street performer from New Orleans. I was like, all right. So he was making magic. So
did he make anybody disappear in a coffin?
No.
Call back, deep cut.
Yeah. So no. So anyway, that's my rant. I'm just curious, like, maker to me means something else. And so, look, I shouldn't be a complainer. if I want to change the problem, then I should work on the solution.
There you go. Make something of it.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Enough of my ranting and raving. How was your week?
It's been an okay week. But, your Maker's Market thing reminds me of something really cool that's happened in Tacoma. Is the Tacoma Public Library, the main branch, had a makeover recently. It's already a cool library because it's one of the original Carnegie libraries. And back in the 80s, I think, they expanded upon the original building. But then recently, in the last year or two, they did a nice makeover of it, and they added these labs to it. And community spaces, which is really cool. So they have what they call a maker's lab. And in that lab, they have 3D printers. So the public can come and print stuff up. And you can print up 1 or 2 items each week as a library patron.
That's cool.
I have this vacuum cleaner where the little handle from it. And by the way, I found this vacuum on the side of the road, and it's been I love this vacuum. It's super lightweight. It works great.
What kind of vacuum is
I was just like, it's a Hoover wind tunnel air.
Wow. What made you pick it up? You were like, there's a Hoover wind tunnel air.
It looked like a good vacuum. Like I could see like, oh, that looks like lightweight. The one I had before worked great, but it was heavy. And so I thought like, okay, that it says air right on it.
There you go.
That looks lightweight. And sure enough, it's lightweight and works just as good, if not better, than the old heavy duty one.
Okay.
And free. So I got it. But then the problem was that the little clip that holds the extension hose on it got busted. And so I tried to order a new clip for it, but they don't make it anymore.
Oh.
So I'm like, so this sucks. So like every time we're using the vacuum and we want to use the extension hose to like clean a stair or something, or clean under the counter, we have to go to another room, find that hose, and then hook it up. So it's annoying. Not the biggest deal in the world, but as long as we're complaining.
Yeah, we're complaining.
Yes. That's the first segment of the show.
Yeah.
That's what we might as well just call it this. Yes. Complaining about our week. So for like a year or two, I've been trying to find a solution for this. And then online, I found... Not like constantly. I haven't been spending 24/7, like just,
Sure.
desperately trying. But I will tell you this. I found a second one of these vacuums like that somebody just had on the sidewalk that they were giving away. So I got it. I got the clip. And with the backup parts for the vacuum, I was so excited. Within 2 weeks, the girlfriend had broken the clip.
What?
I was like, ah! But I couldn't be that mad because it was free.
Right.
Both were free. And
she was vacuuming.
Stuff happens. She was vacuuming. Stuff happens, but still, it was just a frustrating thing, So I eventually found out, like, hey, there's like the program or prints or whatever you call it to print this up if you have a 3D printer, which I do not have. But then I found out about the library having that. So I'm like, sweet. I'll go down. I'll get one of these clips printed up. So I went down like a month ago, printed up a new one. And I was so excited. I'm like, I'm going to get one for the backup vacuum now. And then we'll have 2 vacuums that both hold the hose and everything is going to be good. We'll have one on the downstairs, one on the upstairs. Our life is so much better now. So the new clip is on there. And a month later, I'm vacuuming. The vacuum falls over. That clip busts. I'm like, no. So I go, okay, I'm going down there again. I'm gonna print up one, and then the following week I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna print up a backup one, and then I'm gonna do something to this to make it more. So if it falls over, it's not gonna bust.
Right.
I don't know what it is. I'm gonna dip it in cement or something, but it's gonna
As
be
God is your witness.
protected. Yeah, yes.
You need it needs bubble wrap / resin.
So I go down and I print this up, and there's 40 minutes left before they close. It takes 43 minutes to print up. So I'm like, okay, I'll pick it up the following week. So I do that, and so I go back the following week, and I say, I might as well print up that backup one while I'm here. So then the guy at the lab helps me out, and he's like, you can, if you need more than one, you can just copy and paste this and do two at the same time. So it'll take this exact same amount of time. I'm like, what? So that's cool. So I set it up, and sure enough, I print up two of them. And they're like, this will be 42 minutes. So I just kill time in the library, checking out the Carnegie wing and just looking at the DVDs and stuff. And then I go get the clips. So excited to have 3 of these clips now. So I've got one for each vacuum and a backup. Then seeing them finished, I realized I printed up the wrong damn clips.
Oh, my God.
Because they won't let you bring in your own USB drive because they're afraid of malware and stuff. So you got to download it while you're in their presence, essentially, and then use their USB, which is totally fair. But I accidentally just clicked the wrong set of plans. So I printed up 2 that don't even fit my vacuum.
Oh my God.
Well, I've got one that works now, but now I'm going to have to go back and print up, another piece and just try and avoid the guy that thinks that I'm assembling a vacuum from scratch.
So, hey, if anybody's looking for the clip on the Hoover something,
Yes.
whatever, contact.
It made me think maybe I should start a business. It wouldn't be very profitable, but, for
Vacuum
every
parts and medical aid.
2 weeks, I can make $5.
I mean,
selling hard to find parts.
right. And I'm telling you, and your medical parts, because I'm assuming that you bought all of your goods and wares with your FSA final amount.
That has been such a struggle. I've tried 3-4 times to make orders on Amazon, and for whatever reason, there has been some issue, and it goes automatically to billing my credit card, my regular credit card, not my FSA card. And so I've had to go back and manually re-add the stuff. It's been, that's been a headache, and it's still, by the time this episode drops, I will either be completely SOL or I will have a garage full of,
SOS stuff.
medical goods. Yes.
Perfect.
Sunblock and eye drops and whatnot. That'll last me the next 5 years because I had to spend $500 at the last minute on, FSA eligible items, personal care.
Well, I mean, that's kind of fun. That would be quite the Google search.
What was that?
Hey, I need a list of FSA eligible items.
Oh no, that was the first thing I did was Google FSA eligible items, and I went through the 400 items and said I could use that, I could use that, I could use that.
Yeah, okay.
But it's so crazy, the stuff that is available that you can get, and then stuff that isn't available. Or eligible, I should say, like toothpaste, for instance.
That's preventative care.
Right? And toothbrushes would be an obvious thing. No.
Wow.
But I checked it out because of your suggestion last week. Tampons? Sure.
Hey, okay.
My concern with that is that obviously the tampons aren't for me. So are they going to really crack down on that? I don't know, but we'll find out.
Hey, but you know what? Yay for the girlfriend.
Yes. Christmas will come early. If this damn order will go through.
There you go. I love it.
So yeah, it's been a headache, but hopefully that all worked out.
Wow.
We'll find out.
Wow. All right. Anything else exciting happen?
Yeah, I'd say that's about it. I mean, aside from the fact that I finally had a few minutes to check out the movie Begonia, which was one of the movies that came out last year, and it was pretty good. And I think we should talk about it in the next segment, in our Cultural Blind Spot segment, because I know you also watched a big movie.
I did.
That I was a big fan of. And I'm interested to know what you think about it. I mean, it's only been, 32 years since it came out?
Something like that.
That's a little, God, that's hard to believe. Wow. But yeah, that's, and last week I watched a 90-year-old movie, and I believe you also watched that movie.
Did.
So we got so much to talk about in this next segment.
All right, keep listening, everybody.
We'll be right back with more Don't Ask Me to Talk. This is Eric Ryder reminding you to follow us on Facebook. We're at Don't Ask Me to Talk, and we're on Instagram, again, at Don't Ask Me to Talk. We'd love to hear from you, so check us out on social media and leave us a comment, leave us a like. Remember, you can always email us directly at asking@don'taskmetotalk.com or leave us a voicemail or text at 475-999-2726. That's 475-999-2726. And welcome back to Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm one of your podcast pals. I'm Eric Ryder.
Hey, y'all. I'm the other one. I am Stacy Heller. So,
rootin' tootin' Stacy Heller.
That's me. Okay. So
down in San Antonio.
This whole cultural blind spot segment is a huge influence. I know that we've got listeners all over the country and world, and it even hits home for me because after you talked about Modern Times, the 90-year-old...
Yeah, the Charlie Chaplin movie I watched last week. An absolute classic it's on the AFI Top 100 Films of All Time. And I was really excited after watching it. Like, I know this is 90 years old, but I want to talk about it now. Let me find a 120-year-old person to talk to. I couldn't find one, but I'm glad that you were willing to listen to me rant about it.
Totally. So. And was so inspired, I went and got my San Antonio library card and watched it on Canopy. And nice. I sent you a text of the TV, the TV is up.
Yeah, it was only a couple hours later, I think, where you were already watching it. I was like, oh, wow, I guess I made a good case for it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never realized, and this is why this segment I think is so cool. Because Charlie Chaplin, maybe younger people don't really know who he is, but he's one of those iconic characters that immediately who he is with his little pigeon-toed walk and the little mustache and the whole thing, right?
The little tramp character that he played was very famous.
You know what you think you've seen Charlie Chaplin. I realized I had never seen a movie with Charlie Chaplin and was like,
I had only seen clips before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, huh. And you were so right that some of these scenes, I'm like, oh, Charlie Chaplin walked so that these other comedians and entertainers could run. And I think about Charlie Chaplin on roller skates, Fred Astaire did in one of his movies, a whole roller skating scene and lots of physical comedy. I mean, he was more of a dancer, but still the physical dexterity of doing a scene. I think about, as you said, the factory scene. It's the Laurel and Hardy stuff and The Honeymooners, and like, I mean, just so many different things that watching it, I was like, oh my gosh. And you were right about, the music, and then having the overlay. Like, Pete came home when I was watching it and he's like, wait, is this a silent movie or is this a talking movie? And I'm like,
right.
And so it reminded me, if you've watched Singing in the Rain, like that movie was about them transitioning from silent movies to talkies, and how they had these different things that they did. And so this was like the real life version of that, like happening in real time. So it was fascinating, and it was like weirdly modern in points, like Big Brother's watching you, and just some things like that, and just about like the Industrial Revolution taking over jobs and trying to find jobs, and it was funny, and it was historical, and it was fascinating.
And, it reminds me of, I forgot to mention this last week, but there was a movie that came out in the last couple years called Hundreds of Beavers that appears to be very influenced by this. It's a modern movie, but it's a black and white, semi-silent movie where they do have they have music and sound effects and stuff like that, but not dialogue.
Okay.
And it's really funny and really well made. And it is, last I checked, on Canopy and Hoopla, so well worth checking out. And if you like that kind of humor that's in modern times, I think you'll like Hundreds of Beavers. It's very funny and very well done. But it's like some modern filmmakers attempt to do that whole silent / talkie hybrid thing that Charlie Chaplin did 90 years ago with Modern Times.
Yeah.
And it does star Hundreds of Beavers,
okay,
which are just guys in costumes, but it's very fun.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it was super enjoyable, and it was just like, besides being enjoyable and all these other things, and like crossing off this and whatever, it was just like, wow, the things that they were able to do. Like, it's so long ago, and yet it's just a blip. It's crazy. So,
yeah, and it was just another one where it's like, okay, I see where that came from. And it's not like with a lot of other movies where it's a catchphrase, that you hear repeated down time because of the fact that it was mostly silent. But there's images from it and just like jokes and stuff, the physical humor and stuff that you just see echoed through culture for the last 100 years, which pretty fun whenever we do these to see like, okay, that's the birthplace or that's the thing that popularized this particular thing that we've kind of just taken for granted as a trope.
Oh yeah, all the pratfalls in the little hut that they had, and him falling and breaking the various parts and whatever. And you're right, Paulette Goddard was a hottie.
Oh yeah,
she was beautiful.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah. So well done, Charlie.
I get where you're coming from.
So anyway, but that's not my cultural blind spot that I did check it off, but like, that's not the really big one that I did.
All right. Well, I'd love to know what could be bigger than that.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. And you hadn't seen it before.
I had not. I knew about like the number of times that I've seen clips from the dancing scene, and like I knew who was in it, but I knew nothing about it. And so it was quite the roller coaster. First of all, like the number of people that are in that movie, and they're not all like, they're still around. Like, and I'm like, were they big then? Like, I can't remember, but.
Well, John Travolta had already been a star, but his star had faded hugely. So 1994, when Quentin Tarantino, and this is his second movie, he'd already made a splash with Reservoir Dogs, but so this was his hotly anticipated second movie. He basically resurrected John Travolta's career, for better or worse. But I think John Travolta is great in Pulp Fiction. Some of his other stuff after this, I don't think was quite as good, but it gave him a career again. Samuel L. Jackson, he was already known as a great character actor, but this is the movie that really put him on the map. Uma Thurman, again, had done other stuff, but this is the movie that made her a bona fide star.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, he also had kind of got resurrected by this movie. Tim Roth, again, a respected character actor, also more put on the map.
Yep.
This was the first place I ever saw Christopher Walken in a movie, and he's got a very memorable scene. And I feel like after Christopher Walken had done lots of stuff beforehand, but he wasn't a household name.
Right.
It was after Pulp Fiction that people started really like, oh, Christopher Walken, he's a national treasure. He's such a weirdo, but I love him, kind of thing. Yeah. It's an all-time classic. But of course, there's a lot of violence in this. There's some salty language in it. There's some definitely adult themes. And so, like, as a person that, no offense, enjoys a lot of children's movies, I wonder how something this overtly adult, not in a porno way, but clearly
great.
Only for adults.
That didn't bother me.
Feels
at all.
about this.
Like, that did not bother me at all. Like, it's funny. Like, I am fine with blood, I guess, and with violence like that. I wasn't squeamish. I really think I hate the jump scare stuff. That's the stuff that drives me crazy. And this was so in your face. We're walking up and we're okay, it's almost showtime. Let's do our thing. And it was so right there that I never had a moment that I was it was.
Well, there's some very surprising things in this movie, which I think we can give away because of the fact that it's from 1994 at this point. If you haven't seen it, then, I'm sorry. You'll forget about these spoilers by the time you actually do watch it. But of course, the guy getting his head blown off in the car, that was a real surprise to me when I watched this in the theater. And of course, when Ving Rhames' character gets hit by the car that Bruce Willis is driving, these were whoa, kind of moments. Holy smokes, this is pulling no punches.
Oh, yeah. And yet it's of course it did. And I will say, the timing of it, I was trying to figure out, chronologically, when they were in the diner, is that the end, or is the end actually, because they were talking to Marcellus or whatever the big boss's name was, and I'm
Marcellus Wallace.
Yep, I'm but he wasn't messed up at all, and so I was wait, did this happen before that? And the end is with Bruce Willis and his girl. And that whole thing, I was where is this shot? Are we in the deep south? What is happening right now? With Zed? Holy cow. That's the thing that all the other stuff, I'm sure, a car chase and somebody getting blown off by mistake and all that kind of, I'm okay, yes, it was a surprise, but also yeah. But that whole scene, I'm what is happening with the guy that they brought out in the, out of the basement dungeon? I was
This reminds me, I am currently watching the Superfan episodes of The Office, and they just made a reference to this on the last episode that I watched. The Pam character is being a mother has softened me so much. I used to watch Pulp Fiction and just laugh. And now I think that poor Gimp is somebody's child.
Yes.
And it's like, yes, that's true. But you got to just remember this is Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I know.
It's in the title.
It's like, what just happened? Like this took a hard left that I did not expect. Yeah. And like the dance scene, first of all, I want to go to the restaurant that they went to.
Jackrabbit Slims.
The whole thing was
it's like a 50s themed diner that also has like dance competitions in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was like crazy. And sitting in the car, I'm like, it's actually a good idea. Like they should do that. So finally seeing that iconic dance scene, I did not know about her OD. I was like, that's crazy.
That was another one that makes you go, like, because when she's dead and then comes back to life when they put the needle in, it's like, yeah, that's another one.
Also, Eric Stoltz,
little jump
like,
kind of thing.
Sweet Eric Stoltz, like he's from The Mask. He's from that teen movie where he was the sweet drummer. I'm like, Eric Stoltz, like, what are you doing? And Rosanna Arquette. Yeah. I mean, so it was a roller coaster. I will say the Quentin Tarantino character, part of me was like, all right, Quentin, he said the N-word a lot. And I'm like,
yeah,
this just feels like you are like, I get a reason to say this because it's in character. And I'm like, that character.
I'll say I love this movie. I love his direction. I love his script. He is the weakest part of this movie as an actor in the film.
Yeah.
He's really wooden. And at a certain point, I think like, doing a cameo in a movie, it's like a well-established thing that directors do.
Be in the diner.
But Hitchcock had it right. He's not in there doing like whole scenes that are on his shoulders. And I think Quentin Tarantino at that point had either so much ego or so much cocaine in his system that he thought like he was a great actor. Not a great actor. And then subsequently, after Pulp Fiction, he does not appear as much in movies. But there was a time there where, he was really making a serious go as an actor. He's just not that good, especially when you got heavyweight, actual quality actors playing up against you like Harvey Keitel, who is, one of the best actors of all time. It just makes the seams on your wooden performance all the, more visible. But yeah, so you enjoyed it.
So I enjoyed it. Literally my only complaint with the whole thing was Quentin Tarantino and like as that character and the like him, if he's sort of the suburbsy guy that's married to Bonnie and is worried about like his middle class life and his wife coming home from the graveyard shift. I'm like, he's not that inflammatory as a character. Like, no, I don't buy it. But otherwise, very fun.
Yeah, I mean, in 1994, it's a different time than it is now also. Yes. So some of the some of the things that we would think of as culturally insensitive at the time, people didn't necessarily think of it quite as much like that. Yeah. It definitely ruffled some feathers at the time. And so some of that language maybe doesn't age as well as we'd hoped. But, I mean, that could be said of pretty much every movie.
That's true. Very true.
And congratulations, you crossed off another one from the AFI Top 100 yourself.
Look at me.
Now, was that did that play into your decision to watch Pulp Fiction at all, or did you just see it come up on one of the streaming services?
Saw it come up on Canopy when I was like, holy cow, what am I going to watch? I'm running out of time before we record. Oh my God. And so I was like, I need to see this one. And so nailed it.
Well, I think that's a big cultural touchstone. And once you've seen it, there's so many things that you can kind of beautiful mind, like, oh, that's where that came from. I mean, The Simpsons did a whole episode that was like short stories about Springfield, something like that, where they did like a Pulp Fiction parody in it that was very funny. Worth checking out now that you get the references. Okay. But there's been so many of these little references to that movie that you'll see have popped up in culture since 1994.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. It's all going to make sense now. Okay, but you mentioned before we took a break that you saw Begonia, and that is, what's her name?
I did. What's her name? Yeah, Emma Stone stars in it.
Tell me, how was it?
It was good. Now, this movie came out last year, 2025, and it was nominated in the Academy Awards this last year. Now, it was basically shut out. Unfortunately, but a lot of good movies were nominated, of course. So it couldn't win everything, but I would have liked to see some kind of nomination, some kind of win for it, because I think the acting was fantastic, and I think to me it's crazy that Jesse Plemons didn't get a Best Actor nomination, if not a win, for this movie, because he's incredible in it, and Emma Stone is incredible in it and completely fearless. It's directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, and he's got a Greek name, so I'm clearly going to say it incorrectly.
Oh, that's okay.
But he's directed some very interesting film. Any of these you would not think, well, that's boring. Right. Whether you like it or not, none of his movies are boring. They're always very artistic and pushing the boundaries of what film can do. And I've watched a few of them. I've seen The Lobster, I've seen Poor Things, and now I've seen Begonia. And I got to say, I liked Poor Things a lot, and maybe that's my favorite of his movies so far that I've seen. But I'm interested in going back and checking out the others, just because he's that singular as a filmmaker.
And, Poor Things was just maybe 3 years ago or something.
He's got a huge work ethic, yes. Poor Things came out in 2023, and in between this and Begonia, he did Kinds of Kindness, and that also starred Emma Stone.
Wow.
So, they've been teaming up together for the last 4 movies, I think it is.
Wow.
Because, she was in The Favorite as well back in 2018.
Okay.
So they've been busy together.
Yeah, because she did Poor Things, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So the last 4 she's starred in and has been great and has delivered very different performances in each of them. And she's just so good. And like I said, Jesse Plemons is fantastic in this movie.
What is it about?
Yeah, I didn't want to give away too many spoilers because this movie just came out last year and it's streaming now on Peacock. And I know people are going to want to check it. But let me just say, just fast forward about 2 minutes if you want no spoilers on this movie, if you want to go in completely fresh and not knowing anything about it. But basically, Jesse Plemons' character and his cousin, who appears to have some kind of mental disability, they live together, and his character, Jesse Plemons' character, that convinces his cousin to help him kidnap Emma Stone's character. Now, Emma Stone's character she's the CEO of a pharmaceutical company, and he works in the warehouse for this pharmaceutical company. But he is convinced that she is an alien, basically, and that their alien race has been basically sent here to destroy the Earth, and then all the problems that we have on the planet are caused by these aliens. And his mother is in a coma, and it turns out that she had been a test subject for some of the research that the pharmaceutical company had been doing.
Okay.
And so it's now in a coma. So it's heavily implied that his thinking is warped because of what he's been through. Basically, his family has, been destroyed by this company, whether they intended to or not. So he kidnaps Emma Stone's character and puts her in his basement, and he's trying to get her to A, admit she's an alien, and B, take him aboard the mothership so they can negotiate the withdrawal of these aliens from planet Earth.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the big plot. So most of the movie, you're left going, okay, this guy's just nuts, and this is like, he's a psychopath.
Like, talk about the one with the mental health issues.
Yeah, exactly. But there's some kind of hints during the movie that there's more to this than that. Like they show like the Earth from above with some of the like titles and stuff, and it's the flat Earth, basically. So it's like, oh, is this a nod to his conspiracy theories? Or is this the world that this movie is set in? And they never really spell that out. But, okay, so here's the big spoiler part.
Yeah.
In the end, it turns out she is an alien. And she does agree to take him to the mothership. But he has built himself a little bomb just as security, a little bomb vest, and he ends up blowing himself up by accident before they're beamed up. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. And then, so in the end, she gets beamed back up to the mothership, and she is just like, yeah, this is not working out. Let's just wipe out these people. Because it turns out they're the ones that basically populated the Earth. And all the problems the Earth has is because these are like the people that have populated the Earth are just kind of knockoffs, really, of the aliens. And so they're like, we've tried, but you people just destroy the planet. you keep fighting wars against each other. So, in the end, it's not worth it. So they show her on the ship, and there's like a model of the Earth. And again, it's a flat Earth, and there's a bubble over it, and she pops the bubble. And then, so like the last 5 minutes of this movie is just scenes of people dead around the world. Like people on a ship, and people in houses,
Wow.
people that were in the middle of coitus, people just dead. I think this movie costs, I think, like $50 million to make, and I swear $10 million went for just those last 2-3 minutes of dead people.
Wow.
Because the rest of it takes place in maybe 2-3 locations, and it's like 2-3 actors. So it's like, it doesn't look that expensive, but then when they, at the end, where it's like they show the whole Earth of just dead people, and it turns out all the animals are fine, which is nice. So I don't know how I thought what she was doing was getting rid of the oxygen, essentially. So I thought the whole place was going to be wiped out, but no, it's just people got wiped out.
That's so Noah's Ark of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's echoes. It's like there's a huge metaphor here for all those destruction. And in fact, they do make reference to Noah's Ark in this movie. And there's so many metaphors on how life is and like all the problems that we create. And we're trying to find like some outside thing to blame, but really we have to look within. And it's really well done. It's brilliantly acted. It's a fun movie. But I'll say my one criticism of this, it's that I am kind of tired of the trope of like setting it up where you think like somebody is the crazy person, and then it turns out that no, the whole world is crazy, not them. Yeah. I feel like 30, 40 years ago, that was like a fresh idea. But since then, it's been done so much. And in reality, crazy people are crazy people.
Yeah. It's almost crazier.
We don't see conspiracy. Yes, and they're causing actual damage and hurting people because of their conspiracy theories. Yeah. That frustrates me because of how we've seen so many like conspiracy theories that have spilled over into real life, and people actually getting hurt because of people's demented thinking,
right.
Where they're warped by stuff on the internet.
Right. So let's not
make them heroes even in fiction is what I'm trying to say.
That's fair.
That being said, this is a movie that was based on a Korean movie called Save the Green Planet, which came out in 2003. So maybe 23 years ago, it was less of a trope that we've seen a million times. Right. And then the other thing is because the acting is so good, because the makeup and because of the filmmaking being so good, I think it overcomes that ding against it.
That's fair.
So I would recommend it, but I do have that reservation that I'm getting tired of that trope.
Yeah. I get that. I totally get that because it's surprising, but also it doesn't surprise me that it ended up being like, you're right, you got me.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting more of a survival, like she pretends that she's an alien,
which is what you think is happening,
right.
For a good portion of it. Yeah. And so I was disappointed when it turns out she is, in fact, an alien, because I thought this is a more interesting movie in my mind if somebody is willing to, say what it takes to get out of, this horrendous situation.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you think she should survive because she's a CEO of a corporation or not. I get that too. But yeah, it's good and worth a watch. But I think Poor Things, if you're going to look at Yorgos' movie, that Lanthimos, I think is how you say his last name. That's the one to start with because it's so singular and so inventive and so fun. But again, I can't fault Begonia. I think it was a well done movie.
All right. Look at that. 2 more movies with 2 more thumbs up. We are like Siskel and freaking Ebert over here.
Yes. Looking at 90-year-old movies, 34-year-old movies, or 36-year-old, whatever it's been.
Fine.
And last year, too.
Yeah.
So we're keeping it
we're
somewhat
all
fresh.
over the timeline. No biggie.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, we probably need to take a break. Yes.
We do.
Because we have an actual topic to talk about.
Well, we do every week. We got to get to our top topic and our great debate, if you will, right after these short messages. So do stay tuned. We'll be right back and we'll get right into that. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Stacey Heller. I'm one of your podcast pals, along with Eric Ryder from Don't Ask Me to Talk. Are you liking what you're listening to? Awesome. We would love if you would follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram as Don't Ask Me to Talk. We also are wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can follow us, subscribe, like, rate, whatever it is that you do. You can also email us. That's asking@don'taskmetotalk.com. And if you'd like, text or leave us a voicemail at 475-999-2726. Basically, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.
And no lie, we are back right here on Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Eric Ryder.
Hey, no cap. I'm Stacey Heller. That also means...
What did I say last week? All caps?
Yes. No cap means no lie.
That's right. In the kids' parlance.
Exactly. Okay.
So this is the section of the show where we talk about our top topic, or our great debate, as I've taken to calling it. And each week we use the Wheel O Topics to pick a topic for us to discuss here in the last segment here. And you're the person that comes up with the topics that go on the wheel. So I always like to get your insight on what inspired a particular topic to be put on the wheel. So Stacey, enlighten us.
Well, I am probably one of the biggest liars. I am very skilled at it. And, but this came up, I was giving my son,
You realize people can listen to this, right? Or was that one of your lies?
you'll never know. And my son, when he was going through his interview process, he apparently takes after his mom because for a job that he was interviewing for, they asked him how well he knows Excel. And he sold a bag of goods that he's like, oh, like a 9 or 10. And meanwhile, not the truth at all. And somehow managed to get the job. And that's awesome and whatever. But I'm like, that's a big lie that this is a job where you're going to need to actually use that skill. Like that's going to catch up with you really fast. Like if you were something else and you were like, oh yeah, I'm really great at Excel. And then, they're like, okay, well, you're feeding dolphins at SeaWorld. It's like, all right, I can fill in their weight and how much I fed them after each whatever. But like, yeah, I was like, you're crazy. Like you have to know when you can lie and when you can't lie. So it made me.
And so for you and for him, right and wrong don't enter into it?
No, apparently not.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I think I am slightly demented with my moral compass. Like, I would say to Pete, like, hey, can you bring home a ream of paper from work? We're out of printer paper. And he's like, no, that's stealing. And I'm like,
yeah.
Like, come on. And he's like, no, I'll stop and I'll get some on the way home from work. I'm not going to steal paper and like end up being fired from like Microsoft because I stole a ream of paper. And meanwhile,
smart.
I'm like, if it's not nailed down.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. True confessions. And so it just made me think about like lies. And I don't think you're a liar. I'm sure like, I bet your biggest lie is like you weren't as sick as you said you were when you missed work one time or something.
Yeah, I think we've all done that lie where we've called in sick when we weren't really sick. But that's a sickness in itself, isn't it?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I think that one, it's like, you wouldn't do that unless you really needed a break. And so I think people need a break sometimes, and, whether you call that being sick or whatever. I mean, I think so many people have done that they've kind of evolved it into, I need a personal day, kind of thing. Which makes sense because, yeah, it's not always about contagion, but too many people choose to work during those days too.
Right.
So it goes both ways. But yeah, as far as me, I mean, I like to think I'm a pretty honest person, but I have definitely lied about dumb things that have no reason to have been lied about. And part of it was like I was trying to think, what's the biggest lie? Because that's what the topic was. Biggest lie that we've ever told. And I'm trying to think if I ever told a lie that was like of real consequence. And I'm sure I have, but I can't think of one right now. But like it's just stupid stuff. I definitely lied about like I remember specifically one time in college, like I had been in a band in high school. Didn't do much, but it was still fun. And I had aspirations to start a new band and be a musician and stuff, especially when I was, 20 years old.
Sure.
And somebody had asked me about like my music, and I didn't have anything like recorded that our band had done because we were just teenagers, and didn't have access to that sort of thing at the time. and I played an album from an artist that I really liked, just a bit of one song, for a person that I don't know why, but I guess I was trying to impress, but not for any, like, it wouldn't have got me anywhere to impress them. So I don't know why, but I told them that that was me, and that, this is one of our songs. And they're like, wow, this is really good. And I thought they were going to say, this isn't you, because it was an English band, for instance. And I just thought they'd be like, they'd see through that BS and then we'd have a laugh about it. But instead they're just like, wow, this is really good. So then I felt too embarrassed to like come clean and say, well, no, that's not actually me.
Right.
How could you think this was me? I don't have a British accent.
I'm British now.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like stuff like that. I know that I've, lied about it. And sometimes it's like I did it in a joking way, and thinking like somebody's immediately going to call me on it, and then they don't. And then it's just like, okay, well, now I have to admit that I lied, or I just drop it and then, move on in life and hope that they never go like, oh, when are you going to invite me to your concert? Because where can I get a copy of this song?
Right.
Because I love it.
Right. Oh, I'm headed out back to the UK on tour. Don't
right. Yes, exactly. Now, the funny thing is that later I actually became a friend of the artist that I played, pretending it was me.
Hey.
Just because life is funny that way.
Funny. Well, all right. So that's not a bad one. I mean, I agree with you. Like, I remember as a parent recalling how I was as a kid, and that, these moms that I was friends with were like, my kids don't lie to me. I'm like, your kids lie to you every day. It is, I think I said this last week. It is.
If you're not clocking it, you're not paying attention.
It is the shortest distance between like getting from point A to out of like your face kind of thing. And so like, I remember lying all the time about things I didn't need to. I had a whole thing in high school where my friend worked at an ice cream shop. She didn't get out until like 1 a.m, and we'd go hang out after. And she was doing all kinds of things. I was a goody two shoes. I was actually not. But I would go
lying and stealing, goody two shoes.
No, lying and stealing, sure, but not doing drugs and drinking.
Okay, because that's so much worse.
I mean, I would argue it is. And so there's a debate for our debates. But
yes,
I would leave a note for my mother on my bed that said, hey, Jen's car broke down. I went to pick her up from work and give her a ride home. And like sign here, basically, if you saw the note, so I know that like you've been up and I don't need to wake you. The number of times I used that note and she never clocked it, like, I mean, and it just didn't even.
When's Jen gonna get a better car?
Right.
Poor Stacy.
Exactly. I mean, I threw parties at my house. I remember I threw a party at my house when I was a teenager, and these two kids, twin boys, had just arrived, and the cops showed up, and I told them to go down and tell the cops that their parents were having a party, and like, they're doing valet parking or whatever. And so the cops were like, okay, but you've got to move the cars. They can't be on the road here. You've got to move them into the dead end area. And they were like, no problem, officer. Like, I'm a problem solver. I'm like, what's his name? I'm the fixer. No problem. So anyway, I learned very early to use my powers for good and not evil for the most part. And I mean, I've told a story where I told some kid that our family is like the Von Trapp family, where we go around and we sing.
Why?
I don't know. Why not?
It was just an entertaining white lie.
Like, he only believed it for like a day.
Right.
I don't know.
It's just that's one of those lies. I think it's just like my story. Yeah. It's a harmless thing, but I do think back sometimes and think like, does that lady still think that was me or whatever? And did they even were they just like, yeah, if I just lie and pretend that that I believe that this is him, I can move on with my day now? Like, just like I was like, well, I'll just lie because I don't want to get into it.
Right.
You never know. But I often replay like old stuff like that in my head.
Well, and look, at the end of the day, first of all, it's also like a semantics. Like, one could make the argument like the years of Santa or the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny, right? There's those kinds of things. So then there's like lies of omission. Like, if you know a detail that's going to hurt somebody, then that may be a huge lie. And, it's like, okay, I'm not going to tell this person that because that's going to do nothing for them. I've never like murdered somebody and told a lie about it. I've never done those kinds of things. I've been a kid who just...
That you're willing to admit.
That I'm willing to admit. I've been a kid who is a quick thinker and problem solver who got out of stuff just by like lying. But I'm also going to argue that like there's kind of a skill set there. There's a survival skill set there that isn't always terrible. Again, you have to learn to use the power for good and not evil. But when I was doing the podcast...
Well, I think you need to know the difference between whether something is important or something.
Yeah.
If you're going to if you're, testifying in court and you're making up these stories.
Right.
That's a bad idea.
Right. Absolutely. And there's I also have a tendency to be able to spin things in a way. And I think truth has elasticity.
All right. And I would say like within relationships, you mentioned, the lie of omission. I think like everybody has to lie in relationships. Otherwise your relationship doesn't last. I mean,
does this shirt make my butt look big? Nope.
Yes. No. Or, hey, what did you want for dinner? Just changing the subject.
Right.
Rather than answering that question is going to serve you a lot better than just telling the honest truth at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the reality is, I think that unfortunately, lying happens all the time. A lot of times to not hurt people, a lot of times to avoid confrontation, or, just general like upset or whatever, or frankly, just to like move on. Nope, I have plans this weekend. So sorry. I mean, like that stuff has happened.
Right.
Somebody asks you out on a date, like, sorry, I have a boyfriend, or you give a wrong number or whatever it is.
Yes.
It's
not, no, I'm sorry. I think you're a loser. So
right. I'd sooner give you my number than walk through hell barefoot.
Yes, exactly.
That seems unnecessary.
I think lying to spare feelings is a good thing. But I mean, there is a limit to that as well. Like you shouldn't cheat on your spouse and then lie to spare their feelings.
Right.
But that's a bigger issue than just the, lie of omission.
Right.
There.
Well, that's just a whole question of, do you have any kind of moral compass? I mean,
right. And we found out that you don't, but that's okay.
Look, we are currently in the Lenten season if you are a practicing Catholic, and it is a time of forgiveness and rebirth. So, hey, you never know what's going to happen. After being in a desert of lies for over 40 years, perhaps I will emerge clean and whole.
All right. That smile looked positively demonic.
On that note, let's come up with a different topic.
Yeah, let's, before we give away too much. All right. Next week, we're going to be talking about like mom or dad.
Oh, who are you more like?
Oh.
Uh-huh. Yep. What do you get from either or both or whatever. Like there's the who are you more like, and then like what do you get from one side versus the other?
Who do you look more like? Who do you act more like?
All of it.
Who has influenced you more?
No, not the influence. This is like, to me, this is a nature thing.
Nature, not nurture.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, let's do it.
I love it.
All right. No lie, we are back next week with another edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.
Bye, everybody.